Michaeline, I read a little bit of your story in your book, Changed. Can you tell us a little bit more about how Abortion Changes You actually started?
I myself have had an abortion. I did when I was 18. And really at the time, I just expected that it would erase the pregnancy and I'd be able to move on with my life. Sure. But that's not what happened. And I had a very extreme reaction, and my life really fell apart for the next couple of years. Fortunately, I was able to find someone who can help me, and in the process of healing, began to think about other people who may be feeling the same way. Years later, into that process, I happened to go to Pacific Beach to get my ear pierced. So when the young man came in to do the piercing, he could tell that I was nervous. And he began to, ask me little small talk questions and said, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" And I was like, I'm like, that is not small talk. But he kept asking me, and he was so nice. And I told him, and when I did, he stopped. And he said, I've had an abortion experience. And then for the next hour, he went on to tell me his story, how in love he was with his girlfriend, how they became pregnant. He wanted to support her in whatever decision she made.
Sure.
She chose to have an abortion. He said he didn't feel really good about it, but he felt it was his job to support her. But he said they were both changed afterwards. And as he told me his story, he kept saying, "Abortion changes you." When he was done sharing, I just thought, thank you so much for sharing this with me. And he said, "No, thank you." It's like, I can't talk to anyone about this, but I can talk to you. I would have never guessed that he was carrying around that type of pain. And I began to think about, how many Zachs do I sit next to or walk by or talk to? How could we maybe reach out to them? We create resources so that they'll know that they're not alone and that healing is available for them. We're told that 1 out of 3 women by the time they're 45 will have an abortion in this country, in the United States, which means there's 1 out of 3 men. And then think of all the family members and friends. And so we're touching on, for many people, something really personal, something really painful for them. So to even bring up the topic is very challenging, and something where we have to be really intentional about making sure that people have a sense that this is safe, that it's non-judgmental, that there's no agenda, that we're focused on each individual person who may be having difficulty.
Where do you see Abortion Changes You going in the future?
There's 3 things I would like to invite people to do. The first one would be that if they themselves have been impacted by an abortion, to come and visit abortionchangesyou.com or abortionchangesyou.es. For those of us, maybe, we're moved, we're thinking about people who are hurting, and we're saying, what can I do? They can go to URXAlone.com, and there's a note that they can electronically sign that says, if you are hurting, I want you to know that I care, that you're not alone. And that simple step makes a world of difference to someone who is hurting. Also, we'd of course love to invite people to give financially to us so that we can reach more hurting men and women with hope and healing.